Hello and welcome back to the North Pole. Today, in episode 4 of this special seasonal holiday edition build on the PS4, I'm going to be doing something a little different. So far, Santa's got a town that makes toys, a town that mines coal, and a town that supports his sleigh operation. He's also got a town that makes cookies and milk. Everything here so far that the elves are doing is for Santa. And I think it would be nice to bring some of the children of the world into Santa's world. The probably most famous way to do this, historically at least, is a train called the Polar Express. If you're not familiar with the story of the Polar Express, the long story short of it is that a train arrives outside children's bedroom windows and whisks them away on a hot cocoa filled trip to the North Pole, where one of them is selected to receive the very first gift of Christmas. And then Santa begins his Christmas Eve journey into Christmas morning all around the world. It's a delightful little story about the power of belief. And today, I'm going to be bringing it to City Skylines. So, let's talk about what that's going to mean. I have a train connection right here by the cargo sleigh port. So you can see these tracks run along the side of the river there, past actually some old industrial output that we might assume was Santa's. We do have some tracks coming from the other side over here as well. So it would make sense to try to connect both of these up if we can. No, well, not meeting yet. So we have train tracks on the opposite far sides of these two rivers here. The rivers connect briefly through a little stretch here that kind of comes past the cargo sleigh town, but there's not anything connecting the tracks currently. We'll want to bring both of them, I'm thinking, right up to Santa's workshop. So I tried to leave a lot of open space out here to do something a little elaborate. That said, I have sort of limited what I can do with the terrain. I mean, there is a lot of room here to blow this out. The trick will be, if we're going to maintain the snowy look, how much rockier is it going to get? So I want to bring in the Polar Express. I also want to bring in the Polar Local. I'm going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to buy a couple of squares to give myself a little more room to play with. And I am tempted to just snag this guy as well, just because I really want to get a good look at this thing. That's awesome. I want to look at which kind of train station is going to be best for a Polar Express. So, obviously there's sort of, let's go ahead and pause this. There's this basic vanilla train station, which is fine. Doesn't really scream Polar Express to me though. There's this elevated train station, which is a little more chic, modern. So then we gotta go look at our hubs. Train metro hub. This one's pretty cool because you can actually run a road down the middle of it. It kind of has one naturally. I would love to give people a way to get around that doesn't involve cars. I think cars would be really impractical in a winter environment as harsh as the North Pole. Cars just really struggle with the cold. Obviously, the tires is one aspect of it. Yes, you can salt the roads if ice is a problem, but salt very quickly corrodes a car's undercarriage. Where was I? So I don't want to use that. So there are these great multi-platform train stations. I've used these in some really big rail builds in some other cities. I actually don't hate them for this, but they just feel too big and elaborate. The Metro Monorail Train Hub, this one is really compact for the level of utility it offers, which I think is a huge part of its utility. So you can see it has a metro station underneath it there. That's sort of the white little baguette underground. And then 2 monorail lines and 2 train lines. There's a couple more train stations I want to look at. They're in the content creator pack bit. So here we go. So the Glassbox Transport Hub. This is another massive train station with elevated metro, which I think is really cool. I think elevated metro is one of my favorite ways to do transit in the game. I don't like how the orientation works for this here, though. That's just metro, crossover train station hub. So I did think about using this because I kind of like it. The way this would work is I would use trains for everything, but we could have like the Polar Express come in here on the top line, and then a Polar local line potentially that goes from town to town here. And then all of that hooks up with the Toy Town station. The Old Market Station is a classic. I think it works really well with any sort of brick historical build. I'm not going to use it here because I've used it in my other main build, Roslyn, which you can check out on the YouTube if you like. So this one's really simple, pretty straightforward. It's just got some bypass options. Ground bypass, so even more simple, but sort of a larger structure, but kind of simpler in its engineering maybe. So a really sort of modern one here. And it's really boring from the platform side, which is sort of a bummer. I don't even know if you could see that clock if you were down on the platform, to be honest with you. And like a mural, I mean, I would certainly expect to at least see advertisements there, you know? Okay, elevated bypass train station. So this is one if we're going to keep the trains off the ground. And the dual island platform station. And an elevated platform. And then the historical train station. So this is the one I've really been looking at for the Polar Express. Okay, so when I was first looking at this historical train station, I thought this was kind of going to be the one. But now, so I think from a technological perspective, maybe it does make the most sense for Santa to have just trains of both on both the Polar Express and Polar Local. We could have a little bit of fun with that. So I think what I want to look at is this guy right here. I want to see, can we do that? Yeah, that's a pretty good spot for that, I think. Then I want to come through, and we're going to need to kind of create a rail corridor here. Let's see. Okay, so I'm going to come out just a little bit here. And I want to come into my... Oop, nope. I'm going to come into my snapping options. I'm going to turn these off. And I'll turn that off. Interestingly, I think we'd want this part to be straight. So then I kind of just want to kind of bring this alongside the road here, I think. In fact, maybe I should still keep it up off the ground just like I did with the road. Just so we can continue to kind of adjust the height of it here. And we'll go to freeform instead of curved. I'm just going to stem that right there, and we'll get in from the other side here. Come in from the bottom of both of these, and figure out how we really want to make this happen. So, obviously we'll need a rail bridge here. Interestingly, already a bit of a weird spot there. So, may just need to bring that up one. And just like that. Great. And then, yeah, I think it actually makes sense to maybe bring the train line up on the outside of the highway here. Well, maybe this is the spot we go underneath. Nice thing about trains is we can use some creative tunneling, I believe, to have a little bit of fun with this. So let's go ahead and straighten this out. I'm gonna come through like so. I'm gonna go ahead and bring this back. It's kind of creepy, honestly, the story of the Polar Express. Like, I get what they were going for, but I don't know. I don't know if I've ever actually seen the movie. I loved the book as a kid. That was my whole thing. Can we go? Yeah, like that. Okay. Let's see. If I do this first, and then come out of here. Wow. Okay. Unnecessary. Thank you. Interesting. So maybe we need to back that up just a little bit. Okay, so I guess we can come out here a little bit with straight still. And then we go curved. Oh, cool. Lovely. Why doesn't that want to hook up? It's like right there. Okay. There we go. I think that'll work. Okay. Maybe we just feather out a little bit right here. Let's just see how far out we can get that. Oh, that looks rough. Okay, so what if we just... It's also pretty rough. What if we just buy ourselves a little bit of room to work with here? And that's a little better. There we go. go ahead and smooth this back out. And I'll get rid of this. So we're gonna do a couple things still. Obviously we need to figure out how to get in from over here as well. Just making slight adjustments to the elevation as we go here where it looks like we need it. Okay, so we're gonna need one. It's gonna kinda back this up. So I'm gonna bring one over here. Like that's more like the angle I want. Okay, it's not great. It's just not really a good place to hook in, honest. Here we go. Guess that'll work. I think we're prioritizing the movements up to the North Pole there on both ways. Now I'm going to pause it because I'm going to start hooking these up to these lines here. And I don't want to miss our first train. See, my secret is that I've never played with mods because my personal laptop is almost 12 years old, and so it has not been able to run a game more advanced than Solitaire for some time. But you know what they say, necessity is the mother of invention. So just take up as much room as we can for the rail interchange there. Allowing intercity trains. Okay. Let's see if we get a little Polar Express action now. Oh, we got one. We got a live one, folks. Here it is. The very first Polar Express to come into the city here. I just want to see the view. So obviously you come past the cargo slave port there. You might see Santa getting ready for takeoff. Or you'd see the elves getting the reindeer ready for takeoff, I guess, is probably how it would go. Wait a second. This isn't going to be a Polar Express, is it? This is going to go right past. Oh my god. Okay. Well, that's a little rude, if I'm honest. I guess I shouldn't have connected that up already if I really wanted to see the Polar Express. Okay, well, I'm gonna move on. I want to do the historical train station out here. I think that makes sense by the mines. And we need to come through with trains. So obviously we're trying to get over to here. still. Ease that out a little bit. That looks a little better. That's headed into the mountains there now. Oh, that is a really steep incline though. Let's just see if we can't fix that up a little bit. There we go. I think that looks alright. So we'll just send this over here at that 180. And I'm going to go ahead and come from right here, because this is where we're going to have this tunnel. We'll go curve from here to here. Nice smooth connection. Okay, that's hooked up. This is going to come out like this, right? Let's check that terrain. Yes, so need to get this up off the ground now as well, because that's going to come into there. And then we just need to find a couple of spots to peel the train off here so that it can make stops in town. Okay, we really don't do that. Maybe our secret here is that this just goes underground right away. Okay, they like that. Let's see how much they like it when I have to mess with their highway connection, I guess. We're gonna move this back here now, so I can move this right here. Level that out. Why not just do something like that? So this is gonna have to go for a minute here. Space is already occupied. Interesting. Okay. Ah, yes, we've got this guy. That's an interesting proposition there. It does cul-de-sac Cookieville, but also that's not going to be tall enough, is it? No, not even close. That's not enough either, huh? That's not enough either? Oh man. Okay. Well, their other obvious option here would be to go underground with this. Oof. Looks rough. Looks very rough. So when I'm having this problem, what I'll do is I'll grab this, and we'll just back all that out for a sec. Then just come in, and are you absolutely kidding me? Cities, skylines. Okay. Just do that the hard way. And then try to smooth that out a little bit. Okay. I mean, that part of the track's pretty intense, but I'm getting very sleepy. So I'm gonna let it ride. And from here, slope too steep. Oh man. Okay, there we go. And then just need to add one more out here. So a couple of things first. Let's pick this. Just set it back there for now. We'll take this. Go right here for now. Come with you. Useful right now. We'll go ahead with the classic here. For the sake of convenience, we'll start in Coal Town. We'll make a stop there. Make a stop there. Make a stop there. Come back, make a stop there. Make a stop there. Make a stop right there. Okay. I want to make this like a really bright red Christmas train, I think. We'll go with, honestly, I think I'll just keep it with the passenger train for now. And this will be the polar local. And let's go ahead and check on our trains here. Oh, they look really cute. Hopefully these trains, if I did it right here, the local line will reduce all sorts of personal vehicle traffic on our main roads here. This will eventually turn into, hopefully, the primary people mover. And the benefit of that is, you know, first of all, I think here, especially, like a nice sense of realism, maybe. The tracks are a little easier to keep clear than all these roads in terms of weather management. But given that this is such an industry heavy build, I think that also has the potential to just alleviate traffic for industrial traffic, as well as because so many of the assets like Santa's workshop here are actually tourism assets. I'm seeing a ton of tourism traffic. So it'll be nice to get hopefully some of that off of the roads as well. Because ideally, tourists can now come in via the Polar Express and then at that train stop in Toy Town there, take the Polar Local to Cookie Town here, out to the mines, or even all the way down to the sleigh port if they really wanted to see the reindeer. This is not the prettiest way I could have built this, certainly. You know, I think obviously one of the challenges from this map was always going to be the terrain, building into the side of a mountain here. But I think all things considered, I'm pretty pleased with how it's turned out. A lot of Polar Local lines here, very funny. And, you know, these switchbacks are working, I think. You know, a little bit of clipping there, but overall, really not too bad. And then should be able to pick up quite a bit of speed, especially on the downhill here. Definitely some unrealistic slopes. Again, things that I would fix with mods if I could. But I am, of course, limited with what I can do on PS4. Yeah, and this is what we want to see, right? Okay, let's take a look at who's here. So we got somebody living at the Hawthorne residence who works all the way out at the mines. Heather Harris, one of literally the longest possible commute for any elf anywhere. And now she can do it by train. So this elf lives at the Elk residence. Unemployed, going to Santa's workshop. Annabelle Richardson must be reporting for a new assignment. Going by train. Look at this. Oh my god, I love it. Robert Walker lives down here in Slaytown. Coordinator at Albatross Publishing. So that must be some higher level list management for Santa. It's right there next to the printing press, the Unique Factory, which is our listing HQ. So commuting by train. We got here an educated teen, Winston Lewis, again a Slaytown resident, going to high school up at the Elven Institute. Very impressive, the most prestigious educational facility in all of the North Pole. And now Winston can get there by train. Our other train stations look like they're doing all right too. So living in Toy Town here, going to work at the road maintenance department down in Slaytown, commuting by train. I mean, it says a lot about the state of the roads, right? If the maintenance workers are commuting by train. Tourists leaving the city, so there's some tourist traffic off the streets. We'll see all the tourist traffic concentrated up here because I do want to go ahead and close these ones off to intercity trains just so that our Polar Express is all routing to the main station there, and that'll be a little bit of vanilla traffic control. There's a tourist who's headed to the Cookieville skating rink. Ooh, look at this. Is everybody here? This is all foot traffic for the train, it looks like. Very nice, very nice. Ugh. And this is just the beauty of mass transit in this game. You can do so much. Let's see, how many people? 16 passengers? It's not bad. Ooh, here we go. This one is full. That's the one coming out of Slaytown. Interesting. What stop is this? So we've got quite a few people waiting to head the down mountain line from there to there. And look, they just got picked up. So that is a full train right there. Alright, well, I am very sleepy. So thank you for tuning in to my rush job transit build here. Check it out on YouTube if this is your first time seeing it. There are 3 more episodes up right now. A 4th one is this one? No, maybe there's There's a couple. Okay, there's a few episodes up right now. I'm working on edits on one. I'm a little behind. This one, hopefully, I want to have all these out in time for Christmas next week. Probably try to do one more episode that'll be some basic city fixes, and then mostly I just want to like get a really cinematic look at the build here. Some parts of it, the rail infrastructure here, are a little convoluted, perhaps. The road network, things like that. But I think there is a lot to this build that turned out pretty cool.
Hey, so this is another segment coming in later because after watching this footage back, I really wasn't happy with how the trains looked. So here you can see I've rebuilt the entire interchange down here. I've rebuilt all of my train lines just to make it feel, I don't know, a little better, a little less messy. So here's a polar local line right here coming out of Slaytown. See, it's going to come past the interchange here. The big difference is now the express and local lines are completely separate. So there's no overlap or anything like that. The local line is on the inside there. You can see the express comes on the outside here. It's still faster than all these cars coming up the hill. Here comes a polar local the other way. I think this just makes everything look a little cleaner. And then right here is the other big change I made. This was all sort of switchback spaghetti right here, similar to what's happening with the road. Now it's all tunnels. So the local line tunnels through right there, and it's going to come out the other side here. But I'm going to show you these tunnels first. So the local tunnel's on the right there, it heads up to Cookieville, and then the express tunnel, where you can see a train coming through right there, does a big switchback out to, it kind of kicks out there. So here's the Cookieville station now. You can see I reoriented it, added another block here, threw in a snowmobile park where it used to be. I think this is a much better fit for it here. Kind of sits on the edge of the forest. Um, and just in general, the orientation feels better all around. And it's a chance to use a couple more tunnels. And then headed out of Cookieville is where it gets interesting again here. As instead of just heading straight up the hill, I have put some switchbacks through the enchanted forest right here that'll take us right past our timber industry. I think really what you're seeing right here is an example of why they don't normally run trains up mountains. Um, I think honestly that was my biggest takeaway from trying to do these trains in the first place and redoing them now. I think I could have done a lot more with cable cars on this map, but the capacity is always tricky, and it's a limited edition build. In the sense that I am just doing it for the holidays here, and I think just redoing these trains was a big thing. Honestly, I recorded a bunch of cinematics with the old train lines laid down, and I hated how they looked. I watched this episode back and was editing it, and I hated how it looked, especially at the end there. So I'm feeling much better about having the local lines separate here. So now you can see it obviously takes a lot longer to get up here, but I think it makes more sense. And then so it comes into Toy Town here underneath the highway, and there you can see the express line is right there as well. And so these are all separated out now, and this is all cleaned up. And then obviously I added a lot more detailing here around the Toy Town station, these two big sort of park areas here, just to make the station feel a little more like it's a part of town right now. And that's just all pedestrian roads and then some pedestrian paths. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The rest of this line, the run out to Coal Town looks very similar. I mean, this was really the reason I wanted to redo all this to try to make it look as clean as this is here, the tunnel through this little hill. So that's the local line. And then I think, yeah, why don't we take a quick look at a Polar Express here? So this comes through the tunnel on the left now. And as you saw earlier, she's going to kind of kick out on the switchback in a big way. I don't know how realistic the slopes in those tunnels are right now. That's a pretty big elevation jump you can see from the lower tunnel to up here. But the nice thing about the tunnels is it's all hidden underground now. All of the obnoxious switchbacking that was up here, kind of just, throwing off my aesthetic, is gone now. And so here comes a Polar Express. And so this has a straight run now to that upper platform of the Toy Town station, which I think is really nice because we were able to actually dedicate the upper platform to the express. So now everyone coming into Toy Town is coming in on that upper platform. They're going to see the workshop and the toy factory there as they come past. There are a couple of blocks of apartments. Obviously, the view out there. And then they'll come into this platform, and there's like the Christmas tree is going to be right dead ahead of them, right here in the heart of Toy Town. See a lot of folks getting off the train here. The tourists are coming in big time. And then this train station is just really cool. I'm glad that I redid the lines for the sake of the station too. I think making the most of transit is really important when you put time and effort into it. Here you can see folks coming down to the lower platform. So tourists get off the Polar Express and get right on the Polar Local to get where they want to go. I love that. That's exactly how you draw it up at a station like this with this transfer opportunity. So thanks for tuning in. There will be an episode of Cinematics coming out soon. Stay tuned for that. I think it'll be pretty short. I just want to show off the build for people who don't want to sit through the whole series. But if you have sat through this whole series, I really appreciate you. So thanks and happy holidays.